All right, so it's the middle of March, and I thought that I would do an update on where I'm at with this Racing Tracks RS1 Ironman Challenge idea that I had. This is an idea where I am going to take a Polaris RS1 single-seater, and I'm going to Ironman the Baja 1000. I've also opened this up and invited others that if they want to get an RS1 and do the same thing, then the whole idea is that, yes, we'll be racing against each other, but really with this, you're racing against yourself and you're racing against the fact of like, can you keep your car together? And it's all on you. And so I put it out there for anybody else to join the group. So far I have like pretty much 8 to 9 other people that want to do this as well. So I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about different people that are getting on board as far as sponsors, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, just do a quick recap. So out of the group, we're pretty much splitting up into 3 classes so far, it looks like. We're going to have an open pro for the guys that want to stretch the wheelbase, go wide, go long, carry extra fuel, have more of a race car RS1. Other guys want to go in pro NA, where they can bolt on aftermarket suspension and do a couple other little things to their car. And then me personally, I'm running in pro stock. So I have to run stock suspension, stock shocks. I'm limited with a couple other things as well, but that's just kind of the route that I want to go. Yeah, should be interesting. So as of the people that are pretty much like 100% on board, we have Anthony Yount. He's a rock bouncer guy from back east, super talented driver. He just barely completed the King of the Hammers in a Polaris RS1, only one to ever have done it in a single seat UTV. He also didn't get out of the vehicle one time, which is very impressive. So he's on board. We have Jimmy Rodriguez. He owns a fab shop down in Arizona. I'm excited to have him. A gentleman named JD Daniels. He is the Sunoco Fuels rep for the West Coast. He actually soloed the Baja 1000 in 2017, had 4 different navigators, made it 50 miles to the finish line, and he blew the motor. So he got like this close. So anyway, he's coming back. He wants redemption, and I'm excited to have JD Daniels. Of course, we have the Kingmaker, Dave Cole. He's on board. I'm super impressed with Dave because this is the type of guy that he could literally be anywhere in the entire world. He could be driving a Ford Raptor. He could probably be driving a trophy truck. But instead, he found out about this challenge and it really appealed to him of just how really hard this is going to be. And something that I've learned with working with Dave Cole is he doesn't really know the definition of hard. Just go wheeling with him sometime, rock crawling. He'll be like, yeah, go up that. It's not hard. It is hard, Dave, okay? Anyway, he's on board. He is actually going to be working with Travis Zonger with ZRP Racing Products. They're going to be building similar vehicles that are in the open pro class that are stretched and a little bit bigger, a little bit more comfortable. And Travis Zonger himself, he is 100% on board. So excited to have Travis. There is a gentleman, and I apologize, he is either out of Montana or Wyoming. His name is Kurt Freed. He called me, we were having a conversation, and I had to interrupt him and ask him how old he was, because he sounded a little old. And turns out he's 56 years old, and I said, Kurt, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, this is going to be a really, really hard race. But he was like, no, man, I got this. This is fine. The more I talked to Kurt, the more I realized that Kurt's the type of guy that likes to go bear hunting with his bare hands. This dude is tough. I have no doubt that he's going to be just fine. So Kurt's on board. On the big maybe list is Katie Vernola. Katie Vernola does short course racing. She also races an RS1 in desert. She does really well. She is just kind of trying to figure some stuff out right now, but she loves the idea of it. And I think it would be awesome to have Katie on our team. Last but not least, we have a mystery man. I'm not quite ready to announce this guy yet. We're still figuring out some details. But what I will tell you is he's fully Red Bull sponsored and he's fully Polaris sponsored. So just some hints for you there. And I'll talk about him later, but I'm really excited about that. As far as sponsors go, guys, I am really, really grateful and really excited to announce that Moto Race Tires is going to be sponsoring me. In 2018, I ran George Felix's car, the Baja 500. I drove a section, a couple hundred miles, and the MRT tire was phenomenal. It did great in the silt, it did great in the rocks. We finished that race, we didn't have a single flat tire. In fact, if you've been watching some of my earlier videos, you know that I've been going back and forth a lot on whether I should run a 30-inch tall tire or a 32-inch tall tire. I still don't know the answer to that question, but when I talked to MRT about it, they said, well, why don't we just send you a set of both? Try them out, try the 30s, try the 32s, try them in different terrains, see how your car accelerates and just everything. So I'm really excited to be running MRTs with their muscle wheels, and I think it's gonna work great. So thank you to Moto Race Tires. Also, because I'm gonna be running in the stock class, I have to run the stock suspension, including the stock shocks. I called up Reed with Walker Evans just to talk to him about the Walker Evans shocks that comes on the RS1. And after having a conversation with them, they've actually decided to come on board as a full sponsor. Once I get the cage and everything built, we are going to go and figure out the right spring rate, the right valving, and just make sure that these Walker Evans shocks are going to be amazing. So see this sign right here? If anybody wants to come and grab that, I'm not gonna need it anymore. I'm gonna be replacing that. I'm a Walker Evans man now. So that's pretty cool. On top of that, we have a local company, Revolution Offroad. They're just right outside of Hurricane, Utah and San Hollow. So if you're ever out here, if you're ever wheeling, these guys have a whole showroom. They have a ton of parts, tires, an entire shop in the background where they can do a bunch of work. They're gonna be sponsoring me some Deviant radius rods. Running in the stock class, that's something that I can do, is swap out the radius rods in the rear. Deviant makes a really good high quality product, and Revolution Offroad is gonna be sponsoring me with those. Thank you very much to those guys. On top of that, we have Risk Racing. I absolutely could not do this build without Travis Wells, Risk Racing. A lot of you guys know Caden Wells, his brother Corbin. Caden does really, really well. He's incredibly fast. And the reason that I decided to go in the stock class is because if you look at Caden Wells' car, he's running stock suspension. He's running stock arms. He's running stock rear trailing arms. It's stock. He's reinforced certain parts that need to be reinforced when you're really driving these things hard, but he makes it work. And if he can drive as fast as he drives and the stuff lasts, then we can do the same thing to the RS1 and I'm gonna be just fine. In fact, it was funny because I asked him like, hey, what kind of aftermarket ball joints do you use? And he's like, nope, they're stock Polaris. And you gotta think about it. Polaris builds a great product. They've put a ton of R&D into developing and designing their components. And so in my mind, the more I can just leave their stuff alone and then just drive the car like a sane man, the better it's gonna be. And it's gonna work, and I'm just gonna motor on, take it mile by mile, and just get to that finish line. So I'm gonna be working with the Wells. We're gonna be doing the suspension. We're gonna be doing the cage, the fuel cell mount, the spare tire, all of those things. So I'm excited to work with Risk Racing. So thank you very much to you guys. To wrap this up, so I'm gonna be posting this video here on Race Desert. That's where I have a little bit of a write-up on this whole story, this whole idea of Ironmanning the Baja 1000. I'm also gonna be posting it on Instagram and Facebook. If you're watching this on Race Desert though, if you want to get more like daily updates or every other day, I'm usually posting some type of video about what I'm doing to the car. And so follow me on Instagram, David R. Clay, or Facebook, which is just David Clay, to follow along with that. So talking about social media, there's a couple of people that have started following me that I'm really excited about. One is my buddy Austin with Fishgistics. He does a great job with his different shows that he does. In fact, we've been toying around with the idea of doing a Polaris RS1 Ironman Challenge Show where I get the different guys that are going to be on and we all just talk about what we're doing to prepare for this and the whole idea behind it. Austin already has the idea of doing a UTV rules show where he gets the tech director from SCORE and Best in the Desert, a couple other series. He gets them all together to talk about just kind of putting together a set of UTV rules that's going to be standard across the board. And so along with that show of the idea that he had, we would also do a segment with the RS1 Challenge that we're doing. So anyway, if you think that's a good idea, let us know and we'll work harder to make that happen. Also, my friend Erica Sachs, she is the owner of Waypoint Nav. If you ride right seat and you have a Lawrence GPS, you need to take Erica's class. It's very informative. She'll teach you a lot about if you're pre-running and dropping notes, how to do that, and then a lot of other features that you can be using during the race. So I highly suggest that you take her class. Also, congratulations, Erica. She just got married, so that last name might be changing here pretty quick. Also, last but not least, Kristen Matlock started following. I'm really excited about this. Just the fact that Kristen is so experienced with soloing races. She's been soloing races for a really long time now, and she's very, very successful. She wins championships all the time. Obviously, she just went and did the Dakar Rally. I'm really looking forward to the next time that our paths cross. I think it's probably going to be the Baja 500, where hopefully I can pull her aside and just interview her and ask her a ton of questions that I have about soloing races. I know that there is going to be a ton that goes into being able to Ironman a race like this. As for me, I'm still working out pretty much every day that I can. I'm staying away from the soda. I'm drinking the sparkling water stuff. And yeah, just doing what it's going to take to get to that finish line in November. So thanks for watching, and we'll keep posting.